When I came out to the garden the other day, I saw that there was a cob of sweet corn ready, and then upon closer inspection, I saw that there was a ton of sweet corn ready. It kind of slipped up on me because I'm not used to having sweet corn in my garden. Last year we had a little tiny patch, but this is the first year that we've planted a massive patch with the hopes of putting a bunch in the freezer for winter.
Kids especially really want to have sweet corn, and we tried growing it in the past, but it would just always get eaten by raccoons, and it was super disappointing, felt like a waste of time. But now we've got a dog. We used to have like raccoons and possums digging in our trash and stuff by the house. That hasn't happened ever since we got a dog. This corn's been growing and nothing's eaten anything off of it. Super exciting. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. Getting the corn from patch to freezer looks like a really big job to do in one day. So we're actually gonna pick it all tonight, and then we're gonna husk it, blanch it, and put it in freezer bags tomorrow. You wanna pick some sweet corn? Okay.
It's sweet corn.
Oh, does that look yummy?
Oh man, it's so itchy.
Wow.
Look at this. So the way that you know if sweet corn is ready is, first of all, this top, what do you call this? The silk. So the silk needs to be really dry and like crunchy. And if you peel back a tiny bit up top and you stick your fingernail in the kernel, see how it's nice and milky? If it's nice and milky, that means your sweet corn is ready. If it's watery, it's not ready. And you really don't want to go through and like pull the tops back because then the bugs will get in. So a lot of it for me too is just looking at the size. These are nice and big. And you can just kind of like look at it and tell once you've done it for a while.
By the way, this video is sponsored by Everyday Dose, my new favorite coffee, and I can't wait to tell you more about them later. We don't show you everything in our videos. We don't show you when our kids are fighting or whining or when we're getting frustrated with them. Those things definitely happen, so don't get the idea that raising your kids on a homestead will be all unicorns and rainbows. But the time we do show you with our kids also happens. We're spending time working and having fun together. They're learning from us, and we're learning from them. It is a simpler life that does bring us closer together.
A lot of corn. This will be yummy. Yeah.
This is only the first picking of sweet corn. On each stalk, there are 2 ears of corn. So there's one on the top and then one on the bottom. And the bottom one is smaller and not as ready yet. So will come out in a week or two and those should be ready. I do not like sweet corn that is too ready because then it's tough instead of just like juicy and sweet. The variety that we planted this year is called Incredible. It's the kind that my mom plants in her garden, so that's what we're doing. I got the seeds from Berlin Seed Company. Sweet corn season is a little bit nostalgic for me because it reminds me of when we did farmers market. Whenever sweet corn was in season, the people would rush to farmers market early, and by the time I would get there with the kids, Cody always got to farmers market first. I would come a little bit later with the kids. All the sweet corn was sold out, and like the sweet corn farmers were already going home. There's just something really fun and special about sweet corn.
Hello.
Oh. We'll just have to cut that out. The rest of the ear will be fine, but I wonder what it is that's like biting in there in the first place. Whoa, one more.
Okay, take it to the wheelbarrow. This is quite a nice harvest. Pretty happy about that. It does look like we've got our work cut out for us tomorrow. We're gonna take these up onto the porch. It's a cool enough evening that they're gonna be fine out there overnight. And then we're gonna get cracking right at it tomorrow morning, right after I get the chores done. So I guess we'll see you all then. Before we get started out there, I wanted to really quickly make myself an iced coffee. For years, I've had to stay away from caffeinated coffee. I get all shaky and stuff. Still like drinking coffee drinks, so I've just been drinking Swiss water decaf coffee. Until recently, my cousin let me try some mushroom coffee that he had from Everyday Dose. I really liked it, and not long after I tried it, the company actually reached out to us, asked if we wanted to do a sponsorship, and I was like, heck yes. It's made with a low acidity organic coffee extract, and it's got less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. Plus, besides the mushrooms in it, it's also got collagen. All ingredients to promote focus, energy, immunity, and gut health. It's really easy to make. Their starter kit comes with a sweet rechargeable frother and the perfect scoop to just dump it in and froth it up with a little water. I add a little raw cream, maple syrup, raw milk, and ice, and it's so good. The taste isn't a 100% perfect match to regular coffee because of the added ingredients, but for an iced coffee, I actually like it better. And as far as the caffeine goes, I usually only drink like 1 a day, but I've had as many as 3 a day, and I didn't get any kind of shaky or anything. Total win. So go to the link in our description and use the code MORETHANFARMERS to get up to 30% off your first order. Check out their coffee starter kit, which comes with the frother, the metal scoop, and a couple other really cool things. And their subscription comes with a free gift every single month. Bums away! And now, as I'm sitting here at my desk editing this, I'm craving an Everyday Dose coffee. I'll be right back. Before we get too far with husking these things, I want to set out about a dozen nice ears to grill over the fire later. Most of these are really nice, but there's a few of them that have some bugs in them, and those are not the ones that I want to keep for grilling, because we can cut those bad parts out before we put stuff in the freezer then.
Okay guys, so the way you husk, you split the silk up here and take about 1/3 of it, and you hang on to that hairy part and pull it all the way down. If you take a whole half, it gets too hard to pull and you can't get it all the way off. Then you take the next third and then you just break that off. And see how little hair is on here? It's gross to call it hair, I should call it silk. You ever thought about how weird sweet corn is? Like the silk? What other vegetable is like hairy?
There's peach fuzz.
What's black and white and red all over?
Sunburned skunk.
A newspaper! All right, so we have all of the corn husked. First, we're gonna wash it, and then we are going to put it into this boiling water to blanch. I have 3 big kettles that I am starting with boiling water so that this process doesn't have to take so long. It gets really hot in here with all the steam, so I just wanna get it over with. I'm not very obsessive about having corn silk on the corn. I'm just gonna wash this, put it back in here. I'm not gonna do any of the brushing or anything like that. If you really, really wanna get every single strand of corn silk off, and then you should brush it. Okay, filled the sink. We had some of these ears that have a little bit of damage on them. I don't know exactly what it is. It didn't appear to be a worm. It appeared to be like little black bugs. It's not on many of them. I'm not concerned about it. I mean, after we're done blanching, we'll just cut that off. We won't add it in to the good corn. But definitely, I would say it wasn't nearly enough of anything to actually spray. Did you see any worms, like actual worms in the ear corn? Yeah, I didn't see any worms. We've got boiling water. So before we put this corn into the freezer, I'm gonna blanch it for about 2 minutes. The corn will turn bright yellow, it'll cook just a little bit, and then it'll be a lot easier to cut off of the cob. For those of you who are wondering what the importance is of the blanching process, basically it just makes so that your vegetables will retain their flavor and like a good texture in the freezer. If you freeze raw veggies, they can get kind of mushy and yucky after they're frozen, after they're thawed. I did this many, many times as a kid. Every single year we would have a sweet corn day, actually a few sweet corn days. Often, you know, we would do it with friends or something, at least sometimes. But I haven't done this, a big sweet corn day, since I'm married, so I haven't really done it on my own. So I called my mom this morning and she gave me all of her best tips. So all the things I'm doing are tested by time. Once the water reaches a full rolling boil again, you set your timer for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you get it out. This is close. Bubbles are starting to come up to the top, but I want a nice boil before I start my timer. Okay, this one is at a full rolling boil, so I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes. With sweet corn, my mom said it's very, very important to cool it all the way down before you attempt putting it in bags and putting it in your freezer, or it will go sour. That would be awful. So we just have it out here on the porch. We're gonna be swapping out this water with really cold hose water. We have our own well, so we feel good about our hose water. It's not chlorinated or anything.
The garden hose, of course, yes, we drank from it. You see, in our times, we weren't actually permitted in the household because that's where the grown-ups lived. We, of course, were children. We lived in this feral world called the outside.
I'm gonna have the kids keep this stuff swapped out. Once this water's a little bit warm, we'll just switch it over to here until the corn is completely cold all the way through. I'm gonna save as much of the boiling water from these as I can so I don't have to heat it all up again the next time.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it.
It's got a little extra crispy. Never walk away when you're broiling. We are gonna just eat on the fly here because everything needs to keep going if we want to get this done today.
While Michelle's giving the kids lunch, I'm gonna keep this going in here. This one is ready for more corn. It's really warming up in here. And we usually have a window unit, air conditioner running, but it's really loud and it's not good for the video. So we just kind of endure it when we're doing stuff in here and the kitchen's getting hot and we're doing a video.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
This is the last of it right here.
You and I, we got it. We don't need no more.
The last of the sweet corn is finally cooled. I feel like this process took a while, but yet I think we did pretty good with time. The next step is to take the corn and cut off all the kernels and put it into freezer bags. Hey Cody, go get your gadgets.
If you know me at all, you know that I love tools and gadgets to make things easier and faster. And we've never done corn here on our homestead before, and when we have done the little bit we did, we just used a knife, but we're gonna try some new things. We weren't sure which one to get, so we got 4 different ones, 2 different styles, but these are slightly different from each other. First of all, we've got these 2 little handheld ones. This is like on a swivel here, this curved blade. This is an OXO brand one. Looks like it might work. This is one from Xylus, and it's got a fixed blade, so it doesn't pivot, it's just fixed. And then we've got our 2 long ones. These we would like set over the kettle and then you run the corn over it. This is a wooden one from Norpro. It's got this thing here to cream the corn, which we're not gonna do, so we're gonna take that off. But we should be able to just like slide the corn across there and it's supposed to cut it off. And then this one here I thought was pretty cool because it is made in Ohio. Plastic, don't like that, but It does look like it will work pretty good. Actually, when we were at the Food Independence Summit, there was a booth there where they were showing this thing off, and it did work really, really well. And just for the record, we're not sponsored by any of these. We just got all these to try them out, see if they work, and we'll let you know which one works the best.
So this is how my mom always did it at home. We didn't have any of the gadgets. I tend to be kind of skeptical of gadgets. Usually a knife can do the trick just as well.
But again, if you already have a knife, guess what? You can do the same thing.
These long pieces here are so nostalgic. I remember as a kid, we'd pick those long pieces out and eat them, sneak them while my mom was cutting corn.
Now that you've seen them cut off with the knife, let's see how these things work. I haven't tried any of these yet, so this is a first test. I'm not sure if I've ever done corn in my life. I know that I've had like home-raised, homegrown sweet corn and stuff out of the freezer and everything, but I don't remember ever actually like cutting it and doing it and stuff. These things look a little scary, like if you had your fingers underneath, you just like cut them off.
Absolutely terrifying.
But I'll be careful. Oh, that was cool. Pretty much after that first nice slice, it felt like it was more chewing the corn off rather than slicing, and it didn't clean the cobs off very well. I gave it a try with a couple more cobs, but couldn't get any better results. The other tool like that one had pretty much the same story. I will say, once it got down to where there wasn't much left, felt like it wanted to move and try to cut my finger off. That worked okay. All right, let's try these two little guys out. The other two started out feeling like they would work pretty well. The white one was sharp and cut really well, but it didn't cut deep enough, and if you didn't cut at just the right angle, it came away from the cob. The black and yellow one worked much better. Oh, that was so cool. I really liked it, and I'll tell you what, we really ended up thinking about it right after Michelle and the kids try them out. So Michelle is used to using a knife all of her life to do this corn, just like her mom. Now I want to see her use these things and see what she thinks.
Oh man, I've peeled my finger way too many times with stuff like this. It's not working. No, thank you. Oh wow, okay, that's a complete different experience. But that's not going deep enough. Why am I afraid this is gonna slip and come back and bite me?
Michelle gave them all a fair shot, but she wasn't a big fan.
I'm trying. I really am trying to give it my best.
I was almost sold on the black and yellow one, and I used it for the rest of the corn while Michelle used her knife just to give it a fair trial. If you really don't want to use a knife, I'd recommend it, I guess, but I think we'd just say, just learn to use a knife.
It works, but not very well and made a huge mess. Just use a knife. Completely useless.
There you go.
We thought maybe the tool would be better and safer for kids rather than using a knife, but I did end up cutting my finger with the tool, so I guess just teach your kids knife safety.
If it's at all possible for you to do this outside, I would highly recommend. I would literally have had to hose down my kitchen. The last step, of course, is just to put your corn into bags. I'm putting mine in quart Ziploc freezer bags. Don't forget the freezer part. Ziploc carries bags that aren't freezer bags, and the freezer ones are a lot thicker, and they will keep your food from getting freezer burn. When it comes to buying Ziploc versus other brands of bags, I always get Ziploc. Ziploc never disappoints. And I also always mark the bags because you will forget to use those first if you have any left over the next year. You always have to give your bag a pat once you're done.
At the beginning of this video, we picked the sweet corn from our very own garden. I realized that not everybody has the option to do that. Maybe you don't have enough land, or maybe you can't get around like you used to get it all planted and harvested. But pretty near everybody has the option to go to their local farmer's market, buy some sweet corn in season, and have a big sweet corn day with the family. Being able to grow your own food is only part of homesteading. Support your local farmers, spend time with family, and then you still get the benefit of having fresh, healthy food stored up for the coming winter months. Of course, we had to have fire-roasted sweet corn for supper, along with the chicken Michelle had started earlier in the day. It was so good. We roasted some with the husk on and some with the husk off. We may need a little more practice. And since we had a fire going anyways, we had to finish it off with some marshmallows. Corn is one of the first things of the season to really get put away for the winter, but there is so much more to come. To get a full idea of what's coming up and what we store, how we store it, watch this video next.
Ew, there was a big fat worm.
And don't forget to check out Everyday Dose by going to the link in our description and using the code MORETHANFARMERS so you can get up to 30% off their awesome coffee starter kit.